Let's do my mom's makeup. My mom was attending an event this past weekend and asked me to do my version of a full glam makeup look on her. To start off, I sprayed her face with some setting spray, I tight lined her waterlines, and I primed her face with the Maybelline Babyface Primer. I then color corrected under her eyes as she does have slight pigmentation, and then primed her eyelids with the Maybelline Eraser and set it in with some setting powder. For her eye makeup, I wanted to go with a gold smoky eye, so I used deep brown shades from my Makeup Revolution palette on the outer corners. I then cut the crease with a concealer and used a gold pigment from the Huda Beauty Topaz Obsessions palette. I prefer using my finger to do this instead of a brush as I feel it picks up the pigment a bit better. I then cleaned up the sides of her eyes with a wet wipe and then winged her eyeliner. I was pretty happy with the way her eyes turned out and it was then onto her base. To start off, I used her MAC concealer under her eyes in her matching shade and then went on to use her foundation. I initially applied her foundation using a brush and then blended it out using a beauty blender. I then went in with my MAC concealer, which is a little bit of a lighter shade, but it added some definition to the wing and acted as a contour. And of course, to continue the contour, I had to go in with a darker shade on her cheekbones, her nose, and her forehead. I then blended this all out with a beauty blender and set it in place with a powder contour. And because we needed this makeup to last a very long time, I then baked under her eyes, over her lips, and a little bit on her forehead. And whilst that's set, I just went in with the spoolie to neaten up her eyebrows because she didn't really need them to be filled, and then dusted off the excess powder before I went in with some blush. I then set the rest of her face with some translucent powder and then went in with highlighter on her brow bones, her nose, and the top of her cheekbones. To finish off her eye makeup, I went in with 2 coats of mascara and used the deep brown shade along her lower lash line. I then used a wet wipe to clean up the excess makeup on her lips before going in with a dark brown lip liner, which is actually just 5 rand, but I will do a separate video on that plug. And to finish off the lip combo, I went in with my Huda Beauty lip gloss in the shade Trendsetter, which is my absolute and all-time favorite. I then set her face and this was her final look.